Hey guys, it's your good buddy and favorite LaCroix boy, Uncle Ben. Earlier this week, my good friend and musical guru Rick Beato uploaded a video to his channel entitled, "This Fretboard Hack Will Improve Your Playing." And as usual, he was right. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys how I took that exact same approach with my playing years ago to broaden my ideas of scale patterns and the layout of the fretboard of the guitar. As always, full tabs and charts for this lesson are available over on my Instagram page at Ben Eller Guitars. Just search for hashtag Weekend Wankshop 271 and start shredding today. Downloadable tabs, backing tracks, bonus lessons, and so much more are available to everybody who supports my channel over on my Patreon page at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. This week I'm also uploading a very special Patreon-only video to go along with this one to show you guys how to take these scale expansion tips that we're talking about in this video and apply them to the A minor's relative major scale, C major, for ultimate fretboard domination. So click the link in the video description below, sign up for the Patreon page today, and start reaping the benefits. Thanks. In Rick's video, he spelled out the importance of taking a familiar lick and relearning that in as many different positions as you can on the fretboard. See, the guitar isn't laid out like a piano or something like that. On a keyboard, every note just exists in one position, and it's all very easy to read. Low notes on the left, high notes on the right. But the guitar is way more complex than that in terms of the layout of the strings and the tuning, in that we can go higher by going up a string, or we can go higher by moving vertically. It's kind of like the piano is like an X-axis only instrument, and the guitar is Y and X. It's more harder, and more cooler. And because of that complex arrangement of the way that we can lay notes out on the fretboard of the guitar, it means that the position that you choose to play a lick in can make or break it. Let's take, for example, like your typical old school Chuck Berry double stop lick. It's a D bending to E, then you got this little double stop here that's E and A stacked on top of each other. If we try to take that lick and move it to another position, like for example this D bending to E and then this stack of E and A, it becomes virtually impossible to play. So what we're seeing here is this trend of function following form when it comes to scale patterns and stuff on the guitar. And this is something that I really started noticing years ago whenever I started pursuing trying to learn the same scale in as many different positions as I could with a simple little trick. For today's examples, I'm going to be using the A minor scale. That's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. The natural musical alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Back when I was a young man, the first way that I learned how to play that scale went like this. As you play through that pattern, you're playing through the notes of the A minor scale, the musical alphabet, a couple different times in a row, like this. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then we restart. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. A really cool challenge that I came up with for my students a couple of years ago to further expand their knowledge of the fretboard is to play the exact same scale, but start with a different finger. So instead of starting with your first finger on the A note, let's, for example, start with our fourth finger on the A note. So starting with your fourth finger here, we're simply going to play through the musical alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, and it's going to feel a whole hell of a lot different than the pattern that we started with. We can find A right here. The next note, B, we can find on the A string. C is always right next door to that. Here's D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Then we're going to shift up a fret here on the B string to get to D, E, F, G, A. So that was the exact same set of notes that we played here. We just reconfigured the entire thing. We could even take that exact same scale and reconfigure it so that we're starting on the second finger instead. We'd end up with a fingering that looked like this. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Again, it sounds different, it plays different, and I would end up playing and phrasing differently if I was using that shape versus some of the other ones. Now just imagine if you combined those couple of positions that you've already learned with a 3-note per string scale pattern, like this one. Now here's another huge benefit that you get whenever you figure out how to play the same scale in a lot of different ways. You can merge those scale patterns together into one huge map that covers a lot of the fretboard. Now we've got the whole neck covered all the way from like the 2nd position up here to the 10th position, and we're really just thinking about one scale. And that lick right there is combining the low position, middle position, and 3-note per string scale patterns to form one massive pattern. And the great thing about this is using the logic that we have with the guitar, where if we know something in one position, 12 frets up, you know the exact same thing. That means based on the positions that we've learned of A minor, we covered this much of the neck, then 12 frets up, we've got that exact same span. So you've covered almost the entire fretboard just by learning one scale and a couple different patterns. Again, that was all A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but that probably would have been impossible if the only way I knew how to play those notes was in one position or the other.
But Uncle Ben, why would we do that?
Well, Virginia, for a lot of reasons. To show you what I mean, let's take a very typical kind of shreddy lick and play it in all 3 of those positions. So in that phrase right there, I played A, B, C 2 times in a row, D, E, F 2 times in a row, and then I played G, A. That lick in that position is really easy because you can play A, B, C 2 times in a row really simply because all 3 notes are on the same string. Then D, E, F is the same way, then G and A. Now if I try to take that exact same idea but put it in the 2nd position that we talked about, where you start with the 4th finger, look how much harder it is. You're going to play A, B, C 2 times, right? A, B, C, A, B, C. Already way harder because of the string skipping. Down, up, down, up, down, up. The picking reverses itself. It feels really awkward in the left hand here too. The next section is going to be the same thing. D, E, F 2 times. There's like a bunch of string changes in there, the inverted picking stuff, really awkward, and then G, A. It's just blatantly easier when you play it in that position than the other one. And if the only way I knew how to play an A minor scale is this, I would just never play that lick. The middle finger starting position is also really awkward for that lick. A, B, C, A, B, C, D, E, F, D, E, F, G, A. Again, I would never play that lick in that position. Certain licks live in certain boxes, and the more boxes that you know, the more potential for cool licks that you have. As Rick discussed in his original video, the exact same lick, the same set of notes, can take on a lot different tonal qualities depending on what set of strings you play it on. The guitar is very dynamic tonally in terms of the fact that the same note played on one string sounds a lot different when played on a fatter string somewhere higher up the neck. So let's take like a typical, maybe Satriani style repeating legato lick and play it in both scale patterns. Let's just say I'm playing like this. A, B, C, D, which I'm going to grab on the next string here. A, B, C, D, and then just walk down. C, B, back to A. Now if I take the 2nd scale pattern that we talked about and played that exact same lick, it would sound and feel a lot different. In the first example here we had 3 notes on the E string, which sounds really fat and bold. Then we have kind of this accent whenever we reach that new string. That's going to sound a lot brighter and thinner than the low E string. But whenever I configure those notes here for the other scale pattern that we played, A, B, C, D, same notes, different position, it sounds and feels quite a lot different. See, to me, whenever I played it in the first position, that note right there seemed to really have a powerful accent to it because of the tonal shift that we encountered when we moved to the thinner A string. But whenever I play it here in the other position that we figured out, to me that note really stands out because it sounds so much warmer and fatter than the 3 notes that we've put on the A string. So there you go, guys. Hopefully that gives you all some ideas about how you can expand your potential on the fretboard of the guitar by taking the exact same scale and learning it as many different ways as you can. I'd also like to say a huge thanks to Rick Beato for inspiring this lesson. If you guys don't follow Beato's channel, you are seriously missing out. He's one of the best authorities that we have here on YouTube for expanding your knowledge of everything music. If you like the concepts in this video and want to expand on them even more while supporting my channel, be sure to check out the Patreon page at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Well guys, it's been fun as always, but it's about dinner time. So I recommend you guys pick up your guitar, pick a scale, and try to figure out as many ways as possible to play it. Less clicking, more picking.